Hi, welcome to the Songwriter Diaries. This is a podcast all about picking the brain of every songwriter that you know. So grab a glass of wine and join us. My name is Megan Ellsworth. My co host is Caroline Stump. This is the Songwriter Diaries. We're all depressed, so let's write a song about it. Oh my gosh, well, I'm very excited to get to know you and hear more about your music. So, hello, Andrew Hoyt.
Thanks so much for having me on.
Yes. Why don't we just dive right in? Have you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in music?
Yeah, well, I played music my whole life. My dad is a songwriter and plays piano and just super creative and insanely smart musician. And he plays drums, and his drumming was just so next level. And just seeing that growing up, like seeing him do something musically amazing, to me that was the spark, I think. Like it wasn't like, oh, my dad plays drums. Like it was like, my dad is like so good. I have played with so many drummers, and I still think my dad, really stacked up there as, one of the best in my brain. And it's weird. It's hard to say that because he's my dad, so I don't know if people believe me or anything, but he's just so good. And so that was like the
Oh.
start of me being super creative. And so I be on garage band in middle school, and would write just melodies, wouldn't do any lyrics. And I hated guitar. Like guitar's just too big and my arm would fall asleep growing up. And I played drums, of course. I was in percussion and played in drum line, and in college played in jazz band and stuff. And my instrument major was percussion too. And so ukulele to me was just this really easy, instant gratification. You can take it as far as you want, but it was nice to play C chords super quickly, and not my arm wasn't hurting, and I could take it wherever I wanted. It was light. We're going to travel to Nashville. I just put it in the overhead on the plane, and it's so easy just to travel with it. Yeah, so I just love writing songs, and so I started writing in freshman year of college, and I started performing because a friend of mine at Wartburg College, Maddie Poppy used to work there too at Wartburg,
Oh,
in one of the
okay.
dining places. So we talked on social media briefly because I was like, "Your video editing is so cool," and I opened for like a in the Waverly Dog Park by Wartburg.
So
But
random.
I know, yeah. But that's really cool. But yeah, I started playing live. A friend of mine that I looked up to, who was like the guy, like the coolest guy on campus who played music. He's like, dude, you should go play live. And I was like, you're right. And I did, and I played all the time, all summer, like every day it seemed like. And then I get back to college, and I wouldn't play for like, that 9 months or whatever. But then after I graduated from college, I was free, so I could play as much as I wanted in Des Moines. And I was so great. Des Moines is so, I'm sure you know this, Caroline, just talking to Lily, but like it is such, and I'm sure you played out here enough to know that too. I'm not sure when you moved to Nashville, if it was like just out of high school, or um, was it like just out of high school that you,
No, I
oh,
went to
you went to Colorado.
college in Colorado, yep, and then I moved here. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just so great. You could play every day and play at a corporate thing, a wedding. Like I played a wedding yesterday. Today I played for brunch. Friday I played at Court Avenue Brewing Company, which is like 2 minutes from my house. So it was really nice just to like zip home. And Thursday night was with full band with Dave Ducharme Jones, Scott Sutherland, Brian Vanderpool of Golden Bear,
Oh,
in
wow, that's
Ankeny. And it was
incredible.
just this fun, like, why not? These guys are
Yeah.
legends. And I still feel like the kid on the playground that I'm still learning how to play a band, and I feel
Mhm.
like I don't know what I'm doing at all. So it's good practice for the future. But I mean, that's kind of how I've been doing it. Like I started writing songs in college too. I wrote, instead of going out to the bars and stuff, I'd write till 2 a.m., which felt so lame back then. But I'm so grateful because that was really good practice for me. And it was hard not having anybody that wanted to do what I did at Wartburg. I felt like
Mhm.
I mean, there were teachers, so people I could relate to, the education wise, because I went to school for elementary education for music. And so that was great, but there weren't any songwriters, and it was really hard to like keep the spark. It would have been nice to write with people, is what I'm saying. So that's why I'm
Yeah.
pumped for Nashville, to write with more people and meet people. And it's just been so fun. Like this, to me, it's like a dream come true to like talk the language that I always want to talk, you know.
Yes.
Nashville's
Yeah.
great.
It's so much
Yeah.
fun
Um,
having you visit because you bring a spark to me too, because I don't necessarily hang out with a lot of songwriters. I hang out with a lot of music industry people,
sure.
but
Yeah.
songwriters, like, you come in and you're so excited, and I think that's awesome because I need that spark back. I need the songwriting spark to, keep growing in me. But
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, even like when I graduated high school and threw up the hat, I was like, I'm going to move to Nashville, you know.
mhm.
And I didn't, because I had to go to, to college, and get a
Mm.
degree, I guess. That's what you have to do. And which you don't at all have to do that. But, I got the degree teaching in Ankeny, which is like such a great school district. I don't know if that's too much information to have on the podcast. It might have to be edited out. But like, it's so great, but it's and I'm going to keep it going, of course, and I'm so blessed to have that, but my heart's really the songwriting. And I mean, but then a kindergartner will give you like a hug, and it's just like, oh my goodness, this is a pretty sweet job. Like, inspire
Oh.
such little kids. I got surrounded by 25 kindergartners at the end of last year at our last music class, and there's nothing like it.
Oh.
That's songwriting inspiration right there.
Mhm.
But yeah, anyway, Des Moines is really good for playing all the time, and moving to Nashville would be awesome. But I also really just enjoy going there once a month,
Yeah.
and meeting people. And in Des Moines, cheap rent. I've met really good friends out here. Brian Vanderpool is the guy.
Mhm.
Just a superhero to me. And there's so many superheroes here in Des Moines that I can text, which blows my mind. So
Yes.
I feel pretty good out here. But yeah, it's just fun going to Nashville now. And that's why, because that's what I was saying. Because in high school, I was like, I'm going to Nashville. And then, to have that 8-year time span of no Nashville, to going for it is just so inspiring. And it's just like I'm living what I wanted to live back then.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think it's so cool how, like, tight knit the Des Moines community is, of just like everybody in the music industry there, I feel like, is so good. Like, there's no like kind of discrepancy between, like, oh, like, this person's fine but not great, to like amazing. It's like everybody
Yeah.
there that I've met and, seen has been incredible. Like, they just
Yeah.
really hone their craft and make the scene what it is, I think. So
Yeah. Dustin Smith, he's phenomenal. Of the Maytags. Yeah, he's great. Lily DeTay's awesome.
yes.
You've got, gotta give her a shout
Yeah.
out. Yeah, Jordan Beam has such a
Mhm.
good voice. I just saw a story on Instagram of him at Shotgun Betty's in West Des Moines, and he's just so good. And then Jake, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Jake S. I'm forgetting how to pronounce it, but he's been playing all over too, and he's so good on electric guitar. Plays the Fender Acoustasonic or whatever. And
Oh,
Yes.
cool.
yeah, I think that's so cool now. I feel like the people that scoffed at it are now getting it
Yeah.
a little bit more. I feel like now's the time where they're like, all right, guess I'll get it. And I've seen legends use it. So
Yeah. Also, I had zero idea that you played drums. No idea.
that, I haven't played drums, and so I'm sitting on a cajon right now. But yeah, I haven't played in so long. I played in worship bands and stuff in
Oh
college,
yeah,
high school.
nice. Yeah, because one of my questions that I had was, which you already answered in your explanation, was like, why did the ukulele call to you, as your, I thought it was your first instrument, but no, it was drums. So that's interesting because I had no idea that you played drums at all. So
Yeah, and I think that's where I love getting like the chucking sounds, like when I'm playing, like very
mhm.
much from learning rudiments and stuff, and just things were faster for me to learn when it came to like steady beat. Like steady beat's so important, right? And I had
Mhm.
that like right away just from doing percussion. And
Yeah.
I feel like there's so many. Dave Barnes, I'm sure you know Dave Barnes, potentially in Nashville. He in an interview he talked about how there's so many legends that were drummers. Like if you look back at history of a lot of professional musicians and songwriters, they were drummers at first. I don't know, he didn't like name anybody, but I was like, oh yeah, you're right. I mean, there are some people, I can't think of them right now, but there's artists that definitely have a history of being drummers.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, no, that's true, huh? That's cool. Huh. I never really thought about that. Interesting.
Yeah, I thought
Megan's
that was a
learning
cool
something
thing.
new.
I thought that was really interesting. And Brian Vanderpool, drummer,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that was his first thing, and he does everything else amazingly. You know.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And what does a normal songwriting session look like for you? Like both in Des Moines and in Nashville. Like, do you co-write most of the time? Do you write solo?
I mostly do solo. I find that if I co-write, that it's always a better song,
Mm,
because there's things that they think is really cool that you wouldn't think was cool, and you're like, oh yeah, I guess that is kind of cool. And it's just something about bouncing ideas off of people. And it is definitely, a dance. Like you have to like know how to do the dance, but not necessarily just that. Like your partner, which is very cliche to say it like that, but um, I mostly do solo. So like when I wrote Better Half that came out Friday,
mm-hmm.
I watched a John Mayer interview on mute, because in an interview, John Mayer said, sometimes I just mute TV and write. So I was like, I'm going to do that. And so I muted John Mayer. So double the amount of creativity. And played my electric guitar, because I never played electric guitar. I play ukulele all the time, And so to play my Fender Mustang, and then like with my new amp I never play, all these creative thoughts just appear easily for me. And I wrote Better Half probably in like an hour and a half or so, but it's just fun, just like watching. But yeah, I'll usually do melody first, and then I'll put words to it. And a lot of times the best songs that I find are my favorite that I write are when the lyrics appear with the melody. And those are the most like thoughtful and like most genuine. And it's really hard to write when you're not wanting to write, as you both know, I'm sure. And for me, like I have to have gotten a lot of stuff done in the day. So if I'm like, oh yeah, so I vacuumed, I got the groceries, and I did what I was supposed to do as an adult. Like now I can like have this 4 hours of uninterrupted time where I'm not like nagging myself for not getting something done, but I can just freely write, and it's all open space. Let's do it, because I would grow up writing, having to push things away and having that stress as I'm writing, which sometimes makes better writing. So I don't know. It's been nice to be more of an adult though, and like get things done, and then like be like, let's write. Yeah, and I found too, I sat at Frothy Monkey, and I was on my phone changing lyrics, and I was doing so well. Usually I have to listen to the song and play it, but I was without any audio. I just had my phone, and I just thought about the song, and I love the lyrics there. I think that's for Better Half too. I think I rewrote Better Half. Yeah. And I was just sitting in Nashville. So that's a new thing now. So now I can write a song, but then edit it on my phone, which I didn't know how people did that.
Oh yeah, I rely on the Notes app.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or like the Google Drive app on your phone. That's like my Lord and Savior.
That's very smart.
So what do you think are some of the most important qualities for a successful songwriter?
I think a songwriter just needs to have like a really, really good sense of the music they listen to, and not be limited to just like one genre. Not that like I know what I'm talking about, but like I found that I listen to like some really random stuff, like from Vampire Weekend to
Remy
Wolf. Thank you. I think comparison's really, really, really bad. I compare all the time and trying to always get better. But I think you just have to like enter the songwriting session or whatever it is, if you're with other people or yourself, just thinking, you know what? Life is good. Like that's what when I write good songs, life is good. Look at the water over there. Like if I'm like writing it, like I wrote some songs in Minnesota, but it's like, look how cool this is. I have all this free time. I can just relax. Let's make something out of nothing that makes me want to smile and makes hopefully other people want to smile too. And something that is like true to myself and something that is better than I've ever done. Without like the pressure of it's got to be better, but it's just that open. You know what? If we don't get a good song, we don't. Let's just mess. Like having that attitude really helps me have fun. If it's like I need to write a good song because I haven't written a good song in so long, and we have to write, so get to work.
Yeah.
Then it's no fun. And I do that all the time because I want to like get better and I want to get things done. It's like, come on, but you can't with art. You can't just throw paint down. You have to really put heart in it. Especially with live performance. Like today, I was so tired at 10:30 a.m. because I've had 3 shows this week, and it's like always searching for the passion because that's gonna make me feel better. That's gonna make people look up more instead of just like playing it like a record player. Like here's the song. I've played it 500 times, but like having that mentality of let's make the world better for me and for everybody else. Let's do it. Like that's gonna be so fun. And then people interact, and that builds up more momentum and excitement. So I think just having a position of positivity and let's just have fun. Like almost like your best friend would, how your best friend would talk to you, or sorry, I'm kind of rambling.
No, totally.
You are
That makes
literally
sense.
the most positive person I've ever met in my life. And
literally, I'm like, wow. Yeah, I'm in awe of your positive.
How are you so happy all the time? People are happy.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. But I think too, the idea of having fun while playing is what gets lost among people that get burnt out.
Yeah.
Because it's like the pressure to write better, the pressure to write for a certain project, and then it's not fun anymore. And people forget why they started doing music in the first place. Like no one got into music as a career being like, this is going to make me money and I'm going to be successful and I'm going to be having a steady job in music. No, nobody did that. Yeah. Everybody had an initial passion that for music, and people forget that so much, especially songwriters, I feel like. And I've met so many people here that get burnt out so quickly that need to have a certain quota of songs or, have certain co-writes lined up that they have to go to and come up with something creative. It's like, just have fun. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But it's definitely not going to happen if you're stressing the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I've met so many positive people out in Nashville, but it also feels sometimes like a doorway when I'm like doing open mics. Like people walk through the door to enter, into whatever is next, right? So, but they'll still play those open mics and stuff like that. But I've just found, like, I'm sure how many like thousands of people have walked through this open mic, like the Commodore, I'm sure because I saw these new people and it's like there's new people here, but I know that like, 15 years ago, if it was around back there, which I'm assuming it is, that there were people just like us that were here too. And maybe they're going to be playing tonight as well. But it's like, it's such a small town. What am I saying right now? I think I'm saying that people do get burnt out because there's so many new people is what I'm saying. And Nashville to me is so fun because to me, it feels like magical, wonderful place because I've been playing, for so long and have not yet really been in Nashville. So for me, it's like, I've always wanted to be here. This is it, and I think other people feel that way too, but I definitely sense that burnout and I feel that way all the time too. I think it's just a matter of, like it's those things that you didn't find before that really drive you. Like I had like 7 cool things happen like last week that I always wanted to happen. Like cool little hot ukuleles, making a custom with my logo and stuff.
That's awesome.
On Oahu, and I played the full band on Thursday. Like to be like texting those guys is insane. Like to
Yeah.
have, have them even be like, yeah, we'll play with you, Andrew, like is really ridiculous to me. What else happened? Like school just started, right? So I'm teaching elementary school and I feel like I'm on my 4th year. So I feel really good about like procedures and what to do and stuff like that. I just talked to Vance Anderson, Brian's manager, earlier today after the show at a coffee shop, and just to talk to the guy that managed Tony Bennett for, 20 years. It's just crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah, insane. And then American Idol, like, I just feel like I'm getting better and better with these auditions. And not that like my main goal is I want to be on American Idol. It's like just a fun challenge to get me to grow. And to see that growth over the 9 or 8 years that I've been playing is so fun and rewarding, like to have those new opportunities and stuff like that. So I think that's part of the drive too, is like, I'm in Nashville, let's learn more, I think that's part of it.
Yes. And what do you think personally is the most difficult part of being a musician and a songwriter?
I think one of the most difficult things is that no one else does it really, that you're around commonly. And so I think there's a lot of like, just assumed things or things that, aren't understood. Like I'll be playing my 5th show of the week and someone will be like, hey, where's Annie? I'll be like, well, she could totally come to every show. But I'm sure that she would hear all the same songs, like so many times in a row. And, and what else? Like it's fun, it's definitely fun. Sometimes I'd rather watch TV. That's just not my personality though. I'm always like, we gotta do something. I don't want to like just sit around and waste time, which is very bad and unhealthy. But
I feel that.
I have to like force myself, or if something cancels, then it's like I get my health back. If something cancels randomly. My best friend Michael Bowden, he does videography for Corey Wong. And I was gonna play in Ames and the show canceled. Like when I got there, because they didn't know I was playing through the booking agency. Something was weird, but things happen, So I was able to make this show, Corey Wong in Indianola. And Michael took me backstage, and I've met all the guys before at different shows. But then saw Patar, who does drums for Corey Wong, and I saw him in Nashville at a pitch meeting because he's doing drums. Yeah, and he took a picture of us and sent it to Michael. But then to see him again, he's like, dude, what's up, man? How's Nashville? Like that was so cool. Anyway, okay. So yeah, it's just like, it's fun, but I'm definitely tired. Like I would really, sometimes, like even today, it would have been nice to sleep in a bit more and just relax, just have coffee and just not think about stuff. Like, it is fun. It is fun. And I think a lot of people see it as, so, when are you going to do this? When does this music thing end for you? Or, what's your goal? I just don't think they understand. Like, I think they think by being famous is how you win with the music.
Yeah.
But truly, Ben Rector is definitely famous. But like, I would love to have Ben Rector status of like, people don't really know me.
Yeah.
But they know me. You know what I mean? But Ben Rector's a little bit, I can't ever reach that. So that's not a good comparison. Ben Rector's kind of a legend, but I'm just, that's like making it to me. I feel like, when is it making it? I just think, I think it's hard for people to understand how musicians work and think.
Yeah.
I don't know, just rambling.
No, that's so true. And we've had a couple other guests say that, like, where people just it's a very people that aren't in the music industry or aren't musicians, just sometimes they don't it's a different beast. But I'm excited to kind of hear what you say to this next question. What songwriters do you admire and why?
Oh, so many. We were talking about Remy Wolf, and I love how she says, eggplant parmesan. Is that ID or something like that?
Something.
So cool. JP Sachs, obviously, but is Golf on TV with what's her name? Len and Stella. I love Lennon Style because I loved her in her little duo that she did with another.
Yeah.
That was her sister, I think. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so good. Like their cover of Counting Crows. Pay paradise, put up a parking lot.
Oh,
What
the
is it?
Joni Mitchell song.
Yeah. Thank you. And then Counting Crows did cover. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
right. Yeah, but gosh, what am I thinking about? Sorry. So yeah, JP Sachs, Line by Line is so good too. Where he's talking about songwriting. It's a good one. Jordy Searcy is so good, like Fire.
So good.
I'm on fire, baby. Philip Bowe is really good too. I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's like in the Jordy Searcy kind of circle of people. And Palmer Hubble, who I go to for studio stuff in Nashville, is good friends with that kind of group too. And man, what else? Keen. I always loved Keen growing up. Thought they were like a really cool, interesting band. Vampire Weekend was fun too. Man, there's so many. I mean, Coldplay, I really love too. Remember hearing him talk about how he wrote Yellow, and he looked at the Yellow pages, and he was like, I want something yellow. Like, you want like an O sound? And he's like, oh, yellow. Okay, cool.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Yeah, those are some really.
Wow,
There's
I did
way
not
more.
know that about Yellow.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
it could be made up, but he said it very genuinely. It sounds like
I don't
it's
know
real.
why you would make that up. That's not like.
Yeah, it's like really specific.
It's an interesting story, but it's not like a mind-blowing experience that he's talking about.
Yeah, and I'm very much into the lyrics more than melody, but they definitely have to match up for me to be like, whoa, this is sweet.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting into like country, like mainstream country, which I never really got into that. But after seeing legends and meeting them in person, talk about these songs that seem more constructed for the money a little bit. Sometimes seems that way. Really, in some ways not. Like you see people singing and having a good time. And these are songs that are really, like Morgan Wallen stuff. Like I love Sand in My Boots. I heard what's his name again? How am I forgetting his name? The guy that wrote Sand in My Boots with Morgan Wallen. Ashley Gorley. I saw him play it live on keys at Nashville Songwriters Association International at their, sorry, that was a mouthful, NSAI, at their like annual big convention thing. And he sang it for us. And I was like, this is really good. The songwriting is meaningful. So I'm on board with all that now. Like it's opened my world to way more music now.
I love that. I love being open to different genres that maybe you were closed off to before, and then kind of like just realizing that there's such good music every corner of the world.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what are some goals that you have over the next 5 years for your career and your songwriting?
Well, it changes a lot. Because sometimes I'll have this hard season of not believing in myself, and so I don't like think I can attain stuff, and which is really just negative, not good stuff. But lately, I've been in a really good headspace of just being positive, and when I'm in those headspaces, I really love to dream about those things, and like I would love to travel for ukulele festivals and go to like Alaska and Australia because they're like all over. And to like in Japan to like Koaloha Ukulele on Oahu. They have a store in Japan, in Tokyo. And it would be my dream next 5 years to go out there and perform, do like a little tour. I just did a release show for the first time, my first release show this year.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
I'm excited. Yeah, it was scary because I'm always showing up to restaurants and stuff with people already there. They're not necessarily, people will show up to see me, but it's not like I get like 100 people, which is like what this venue capacity could be. It's probably like 300, but like I've never brought 300 people into a show, and for people to show up, it was really cool. So I was like, wow, now money's involved in that. I could lose a lot of money if like people don't. Well, you're already investing in it. So you're already losing money because it's a release show. Unless you're like really big, then you're definitely making money. But like, I understand the expense, and it's totally worth it. It just brings hype around the album and stuff like that. but I'm excited for more of those, and making those even more fun. And now that I've done it once, I'm excited to put up posters again and do all that.
Yes.
I'd really love to meet even more people I've looked up to forever. And like, it's so cool. It's like, because Brian and I at the studio in Des Moines, we played in Florida together, and I never would have like dreamed of like being flown to Florida for a show, playing with someone I've always looked up to as like a superhero to me. And to be playing the show, like looking at the ocean, it's just insane.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, it was like 4 different mini shows that we did, and so cool. And then I was talking to Vance Anderson during that time, so I was like, wow, all these things that I've wanted for so long are happening. I'm walking to the Marriott to perform, and I got flown here, and I'm working with Brian here, like talking to Vance. But I want even more of those like really cool, fun travel shows. And I really want to get to know people in Nashville more, because those are my people. When I'm in
Mhm.
Nashville, it just feels like home. In
Yeah.
a sense that I can just freely just talk about anything music, and be around people that I've looked up to forever. Even work with Palmer Hubble is so cool. He's in Palmer Trees, and he's like 21, but he's so good. He produced Better Half, that came out Friday,
that's awesome.
and
Yes.
he's just so good. So I'm like really pumped to have him as a friend, because like I just want to have. I don't have a lot of friends that are songwrite and stuff like that. I want people I can like call up and we can just hang out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are some goals. I just want to travel and play all the time. Do festivals, and um, meet people I've always looked up to, and that's been kind of happening. But I would love to do even more and songwrite with people, all the time.
Mhm.
Be very
Yeah.
fun.
I was
Well,
gonna
that
say,
sounds
out of
amazing.
like every artist I know, you by far play out the most often. You are constantly playing, just like random events, shows, everything. And I'm like, this guy's stamina is just insane. You just
It's really
I
not.
know you're kind of like a little
you're like, it's
energizer
not.
buddy.
Yes.
That's really nice for you both to say. I mean, I definitely don't feel like an Energizer Bunny a ton. Like this morning was, I need coffee. Like this morning was tough, like to get the engine starting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
But
Well,
then when
that's
it
any
starts, it's okay.
10:30 show. That's not your
Yeah,
fault.
that's
That's the
rough.
fact that you're
That's
playing at
rough.
10:30 in the morning.
It's rough, and it's too bad. News rooms, they'll do like the early, recording. It's
Yeah.
like 7 a.m. waking
Yeah.
up. It's like, well, I guess I'm putting this down 5 half steps or whatever.
Mhm.
Putting the capo way down, or
Yeah.
Yeah.
something.
So we've already come to our last question, which is crazy.
Awesome.
But this is our heavy hitter of all the questions, and it is, why do you write songs?
I write songs because songs were such a big deal for me growing up, and listening to music. I listened all the time to music, and James Taylor. I didn't really fall in love with James Taylor music until my sophomore year of college, and like I had just like broken up, but we had just broken up, a girl and I was dating in college, and I was driving back home, and it was like the sky was gray, and it was just rainy and gross and cold, and I felt like crap. And I listened to this my brother's car, and he had James Taylor in there, and I was like, all right, James Taylor, whatever.
Mhm.
And listened to this album, and I was just in love, you know. And I've loved my dad, would describe music to me in this way that I've never heard it described. We'd listen to a song and be like, okay, and he'd pause it and be like, so right here they added this, and it's all this communication I didn't hear anywhere else. I didn't see a video that talked that in depth, or have someone that talked to me that way throughout my whole life. And like growing up, my dad just has this really good musical brain. We wrote a jingle together that won Strawberry Jingles contest.
Oh
Um,
yes, I remember
yeah,
this.
and they ended up choosing another winner because I didn't have a video or something. But they announced like, "Hey, congrats, you won!" And I was like, "Sweet." So I'm glad I didn't like buy something expensive. But that's the thing too. Like, this is kind of off topic, but I hear so many musicians, and I'm sure you have too, that'll talk about their story, even in Nashville, and how they had so many failures. Not failures, like it wasn't their fault all the time, like people
Yeah.
promise them stuff and then they're like, oh, sorry, took the rug underneath them. Like they moved to Nashville for something and they get their day one, they're like, yeah, so we actually don't have that deal for you, and all this stuff, and I was like, well, maybe I'm on the right track if I was let down a little bit from like a really cool thing. That's fine, and I almost like cried after it. I never cry, like, and I'm not even like a tough dude. Like I just don't really cry, but man, I took Luna, our Annie Nice dog, out outside after the conversation of not winning, and I almost cried. It was raining, and I was like, you know what? I bet 10 years from now I'll be at a party, and somebody will say, "Hey, remember that Strawberry Jingle thing?" And I'll be like, "What? Oh yeah, that thing." So that is what really got me okay with it. Just, and as long as I'm being respectful and all that, that's totally fine, and that's how you win. Being respectful and yeah. So it's totally fine, and the winner is really great. Her song is awesome, and it's all good. And it's just part of the journey of being a songwriter and doing things. And but yeah, I sorry, what was I saying before that? I was talking about my dad and I wrote that jingle together. And yeah, my dad, musical brain is just insane. So, and you asked like how I decided to be a songwriter. Sorry.
Yeah, why do you write songs?
I write songs I want to make that feeling that I get when I hear James Taylor, and then I got, when I first heard, smiling face, whenever I see your smiling face, like I want to create that. John Mayer, Man Clarity was like one of my favorite songs. That music video, I love watching music videos growing up, and I would just for hours, like I'm Yours, Juice and Rise. I watched it like for hours on end, and I was like, this song's so perfect. And I want to like create that feeling for other people, and reach that, like just somehow find that magic, because it is totally magic, and it's easy to forget that music is magic when you do it all the time. And if 85% of what you do is just emailing and reaching out to people and stuff and trying to figure out how to release this song and getting a photo shoot done and travel, all the stuff that is noise that we just forget, sometimes. But yeah, I write songs because I just really, really have found that life to be more fun with songs.
Yes.
So true. Well, that was our last question, and I would really like to hear about the song that you gave us to an episode, which is called Better Half. And so you just released it. Tell us a little bit about what it's about, the process of recording it.
Yeah, I wrote that on electric guitar, and I wrote it with like chords that are used in which song is that? I see the crystal raindrops fall, and then just the two of us.
Yes.
So I used some similar chords and just the two of us, and had my amp, and I've only had it for like 3 months now. So it was like a month fresh that I had this amp, this Blues Junior I got for half off at a local Des Moines music shop.
Dang.
And they took 50 off. She's like, oh, you're good, dude, because he just saw me at XBK, and he's like, I'll take 50 off of that. So it was like $450, and it's just so nice. Those guys are awesome. And Dave Ducharme Jones works there too, the electric guitar player that played with me last Thursday. But I keep getting away from the question, but I wrote that just with, the video muted, a John Mayer interview, and I was feeling really relaxed, and I had gotten a whole bunch of stuff done. And when I wrote that, I didn't think that I'd be recording it as soon as I did, but I got to Nashville and I didn't know what to record yet. And it was like the morning of, I think. And I was getting coffee and I was like, oh, wait, better half. That'd be great. And I'm so glad we did, it's just one of those things that I just thought of randomly. And I went to Palmer Hubbell's studio and recorded that song. And I think he just got someone to add keys from Surfaces, the key player on Surfaces. I forget his name right now, but I think he's adding keys on one of the songs on the album, which is so fun because he just knows all these awesome people. But for me, like to have Palmer like as a friend and for him to like record my music is just mind blowing. And I met him in November last year for a Jordy Searcy show, and he opened up for him in Minneapolis. And I did the merch table. And so I met him there, and it's just so cool to have recorded that with him and just to have friends in Nashville now. But that song's about Annie too. And I thought I thought it'd be like a cool title. And one of my favorite lines is, of all the fish under the sea, you reeled me in and set me free. And I kind of came up with that at Frothy Monkey too.
I love that.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Did Annie cry when she listened to it?
No,
she's not a cry.
She thought it was very cute. When the song came out, she was very into me. Like she was very like, wow, you released a song about me.
I love it.
Annie's claim to fame is when you get even more famous than it's, he wrote that song about me.
Yeah.
True.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. This has been a blast.
So much fun. Yes.
You both are just so awesome and nice. It was just really, I felt like I could really freely talk. So
yay.
Very comfortable.
Yay. Good.
That's so awesome.
Yes. We always want people to feel comfortable because I hate interviews where it's like you just feel so
like you don't know what to say and
yeah.
So panicky.
I'm trying to get better. Like Channel 13, I'll still freeze up.
Yeah.
And no one notices, but I notice that I can do so much more. You know, I just relax.
We're all our own like harshest critic for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Oh.
And this is Better Half.
Tell me what's on your mind. Is it me that you find stuck in there? I was unaware. I put my heart on the line. If you met yours with mine, we could share. We'd be the perfect pair. I just wanna be your better half. Always put you first, got your back. 1 and 1 makes 2. Everything you do, wanna do with you. Finally found what could complete this empty space inside of me. You're everything I lack, so show me how to be a better half. Of all the fish under the sea, you reeled me in and set me free. Thinking my lucky stars hit over the moon, shot to Mars. I think you're my A to Z, everything that I could ever need. We feel it now, we both know where this is really going. I just wanna be your better half. Always put you first, got your back. 1 and 1 makes 2. Everything you do, wanna do with you. Finally found what could complete this empty space inside of me. You're everything I lack, so show me how to be a better half. Ooh, 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 na 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 na, no, na 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 na. don't. Na 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 na, don't, yeah. Ooh, 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 na 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 na, don't. Na 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 na, don't. Na 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 na, no, 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 no. I just wanna be your better half. Always put you first, got your back. One-on-one thanks to everything you do, wanna do with you. Finally found what could complete this empty space inside of me. You're everything I lack, so show me how to be a better